What's up, guys? It's Elaine here, back again. And today I was actually going to create another video. It was a video about quarantine, and instead I felt called to share something else. And I'm not sure if it's because I was listening to like chill music, and the chill music ended up being kind of like sad music. So it got me thinking and just reflecting. Today is actually the day before I fly. I actually fly like early in the morning tomorrow. It's already the afternoon, and I barely got started packing. So I'm flying from New York back to San Francisco to mainly visit my parents, mainly visit my family, but I'll also end up going camping for a few days, seeing a couple friends, running a few errands, just because things have opened up there compared to New York a little sooner. So I got a little emotional just thinking about going home, and this is something that happens quite often. And so today I'm really here to share with you the rock and the hard place, right? Really being a first generation child of your immigrant parents, or at least I'll come from right? Like being first generation Chinese American with very traditional Chinese parents who grew up in China, have very specific expectations and have a very specific set of values, and have very specific hopes and dreams for their children, right? Especially their firstborn, me. And you'll see this throughout a lot of my videos, is like I have often been the black sheep of my family, and not just my family as in like my immediate family, but the giant Chinese family. And it's good in the sense that I have become an individual, right? I have become like who I want to be. I chose my own path. And it's shitty in the sense that it feels bad. It feels bad, right? Like I am so happy with all the decisions I've made, right? Like the career path I chose, not traditional at all, right? Working in music and charity is not traditional. Doing this online stuff and coaching and branding is totally not traditional. And along with my career choices, it's like the other lifestyle choices I've made, which is for the longest time, I didn't date, right? I didn't like seriously date, get settled down, try to get me a husband or any of that, right? So now I'm in a serious relationship with my boo. And even then, right, it's like not traditional Chinese boyfriend, right? And I'm 32 now. So by the age of 32, my parents had both myself and my younger brother, right, Ray. And so all these different things. But the thing that keeps coming back up for me is I'm here in New York now. I live in the place that I've always wanted to live ever since I was a kid. And I've spent a lot of time traveling, which is another thing that they're like, well, travel it's like a reward. It's like a little vacation getaway. So for quite some time, when I first branched off on my own, I traveled and did the digital nomad thing. And they're like, that's dangerous. That's not the way. Like, why do you always do that? Like, what is this? And they don't understand that it's possible to live and work that way, right? They're just like, why are you always playing, right? Like, why you always quad you on, right? That's how they say, like, why you always quad you on? And I'm like, I'm actually working. I'm just like living in different places, and I've created like income from nothing. I've created some level of success, right? Like there could always be more, but I've created something from nothing, right? From going like a nice corporate job to back to zero, right? To building back up. So it's not like I have defied my parents and become I don't know, drug addict, like whatever. Like it's not like I even got pregnant. Like it's not like all the things that they see are unfamiliar. They consider it defying them. and going against them. And that's like the rock and the hard place, right? It's, if I choose to be an individual and live the life that I want, creating the value in this world that I feel like I'm meant to create, and valuing things such as like freedom, individuality, creativity, it means I'm a bad daughter. It's like, it's connected. It should not be. I don't believe that, by the way. Like, I do not believe that. I believe that any of us can thrive as individuals doing what we love, the things that we're passionate about, sharing our gifts, our creativity, and prosper, and be abundant, and be a house and light, right? And like care about our parents, and be a good daughter, like, and be a good sister, and be a good spouse, like all of these things. It doesn't mean we have to give up our desires, our passions, our purpose, right? But it feels bad because, like, my parents at least, and I'm sure some other Asian kids can relate, or even not even Asian, like people who have parents who immigrated here. So, or grandparents, right? Doesn't matter if you're your first or second or third generation. I'm sure that, you know, some of you guys still deal with that. But the rock and the hard place is, even though I know I'm not a horrible this, and this, because I choose to follow my own path, it's truly what my parents believe. It's something that they might actually take to their grave, right? Which is the fact that I left them, right? Because not only did I choose to go down my own path and pursue this career that's not as known or prestigious as the ones that other people have. You know, they're like, why must you like keep defying and trying so hard to be different? It's like, dude, I am not trying so hard. I would be trying harder to fit into the mold, the box that you want me to fit into. But they don't get it. So literally, they're like, they basically give me this like huge guilt trip of like, and this is all in Cantonese, right? Or Toisan, like what they speak to me is like, you know, like 養到你咁大，咁個你咁就 like 你唔使理我哋啦，我哋死你都唔理噶。Like meaning, I raise you to be this big, right? Like I raise you and gave up all this for you, and you pretend like nothing happened. Like it's as if like you don't even care if we die or live, which is, that's dramatic. And it's not true. Like I love my parents. I would do anything for them. Like, and I would die for them. However, I'm not willing to give up my soul, like my life's purpose, just to fit in that mold, to be their definition of a good daughter. And it sucks because they might go to their grave literally thinking that. And I say that because everyone has their own reality, right? Mine is, I'm traditional to a certain extent, right? Like I care about my family, whatever. Like I believe in taking care of them. You know, I do have that responsibility, right? I do believe in taking care of them. Like whether that's physically, financially, like I do believe in repaying that back. But I do not believe in repaying that back, right? Them giving birth to me, which was their choice. Them coming to America, which is their choice. I'm not down to repay them by doing exactly what they want me to do, which is quit my entrepreneurship, go back to a real job, right? Like that makes me miserable. But they're like, I don't get why it makes you miserable. Like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like passion and impact and changing the world doesn't feed you. Like, why do you work so hard to make X amount of money when you had a good ass job that paid you hella money and you can get paid hella more? So it's like, it's not about that. Like, I'm not willing to give up that piece of me. And the biggest one as of recent is like, why do you have to like go all the way to New York, which is as far as possible without leaving the country, right? From San Francisco. Like, why do you have to choose to be so far away from us? I'm like, that's not, the goal is not to get as far away from my parents as possible. I just love New York. There's this like magic, there's this energy, there's this thing that like sparks me. And yes, being home or being in San Francisco and being where I grew up, yes, there's pain associated with that. Yes, there's a comfort level, a comfort zone associated with that, which is why I've always loved exploring, traveling, learning about new cultures, like putting myself out of my comfort zone. So it's not about let me get the F away from my parents because I hate them. It's just about what inspires me and what pushes me to continue to grow. But they don't see that. They're like, why can't you grow here? Like, you know, and every, I don't know, couple weeks, every few weeks, every couple months, there's this like big, serious talk. Like, I feel like there's always this cloud like hanging over me. Like, when are you going to come back? When are you going to be done playing? Like, when are you going to grow up? And mind you, I've taken care of myself and I've been financially taking care of my own shit ever since I became an adult. So that's a long ass time. That's like, how many years is that? 14 years? And I support them as well. So it's not like, mom, give me allowance money. Like, it's like I am grown up, but their version of grown up is, when are you gonna move back? Ideally within a block of us, get married and have kids and do your due diligence as a Chinese daughter / mother to kids I don't have. Like, that's their version of growing up, right? And getting a job that they believe is acceptable to society. And definitely not this EDM, music, charity, artist development, online branding, social media, like none of this other stuff, right? When am I gonna not have colored hair? Which, by the way, I just colored to dark blue yesterday at home by myself in quarantine, from the light bluish green, and all that. So I'm going back tomorrow to California early in the morning. I'm quarantining before seeing them, but I'm happy, and yet there's this anxiety, right? Because I don't know if you guys know, but if you guys deal with any of the shit that I deal with about when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna have kids, when you gonna get a real, like all this stuff, you know that it's almost expected. Like, you're dreading the next family reunion, you're dreading the next time you talk to your parents, and it sucks because I love my parents and I'm so close with them in certain ways. Like, I can tell them a lot of shit that maybe some of my other cousins or friends would not feel comfortable telling their parents. However, this chokehold, right? This specific idea, like way of thinking that they have as far as what it takes to be a serious person living a acceptable life, being a good daughter, is so different than the path I have chose for myself, that it just brings me anxiety to see them. Like, I want to just feel loving and excited and connected visiting them and seeing them, but instead I feel anxiety. Like, I feel anxiety, I feel stress, I feel like it's some sort of like double-edged sword. And it sucks, right? Like, when I went home for Christmas, I just had a real real talk with them about like just everything. Like, I came out with everything, and I was like, I'm not gonna change who I am, but it doesn't mean that I don't care about you guys. I'm not gonna give up on this entrepreneurship thing. Like, they think it's like a thing, like a phase, and it's like, 5-6 years is not a phase. Like, and so they were supportive for a few months before like looping back around again. It's like it wore off, right? And the last couple months have been really tough. And they're like, well, coronavirus in New York, you should come back to California. I'm like, coronavirus is everywhere. But yes, it was crazy in New York, but now it's calmed down here, and now it's getting crazier in California. But you know, they're not gonna say anything about that. Anyways, that's it. There is gonna be a lot of videos around this theme of like how to stay true to yourself without losing the love and connection with those that you love, right? So a lot of these videos is going to be about living and standing in the both and, which is not easy. It's not easy at all. And for some time I even had to like cut off communication because it was so toxic. It doesn't mean I love them any less, but I can't have like myself being up to big things. Like I know I'm up to things, my projects, my communities that I'm building, that is creating positive change, right? And I can't have certain people, it sucks. I have certain people, right? Like my tribe, my community, my friends, like my network tell me you're up to great things, and I know I'm up to great things, and there's already the imposter syndrome and all the shit that I'm dealing with and what I'm creating. But then to go home or to get on the phone or to open up WeChat and have your parents like just bash you about your choices, your lifestyle, and like how you're not doing anything with your life because they view success so differently. So that's what I want to share. That's what I'm feeling like a bit of a heavy heart today is so excited to see them, but so not excited for all the conversations that may happen. And sometimes there's a certain level of passive aggressiveness to where the conversation might not even happen, right? They might not even say it, but the energy, like the vibe is in the air, or there's these little comments that circulates in the air, and I'm so not looking forward to that. So I hope that this visit will be different somehow, and I hope that after my conversation with them last time and my continuous stance for myself, while letting them know that they are important to me and they are valued, but that there's no way I'm changing who I am, I hope that this starts to change their point of view, and this cycle, this continuous cycle that I have been able to let happen for over 3 decades, right? For 30 years of my life, over 30 years of my life, I have decided to put a stop to that. And I'll say, even though that is the case and that is my choice, it still hasn't been easy. So if you are a first generation or a second generation or an Asian kid or a whatever, like your parents immigrated from here and you're dealing with the same issues, comment below. Let me know if you've been dealing with this. Maybe you've been successful with dealing with this, and maybe your parents have come around, or maybe they haven't. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't clicked like and subscribe, please do. And until next time, stay safe.
Hey, I keep my foot on the gas.